Today's reflection is going to be shared from Zoom. And Malachi, let me know when you're ready. I'll let Corey introduce themselves, but I wanted to give just a moment of setting up this and today's message. You know, I wonder if when people saw the title for today's message, if they were like, ooh, at home in my body. Ugh, maybe not for me today. I get it. I really get it. There's a lot around this topic. And I just want to invite you at any time, whether it's during the reflection, during the message, no judgment, no embarrassment. If you need to get up and leave, if you need anything, just do that. It's okay. We've also taken great care to try to make sure that there aren't things in here that are going to be, well, we've tried to think about it from many different perspectives. But one thing that Corey's going to talk about is their journey in the military. And they're going to talk about sex and sexuality and consent. And one of the things when I was in seminary, I had all these great, even evangelical Christian speakers, presenters, and teachers. They kept talking about, you know, this is my body and I'm a sexual being and I have sex and I do this. And I was like, what is going on? I was so kind of embarrassed, like I didn't grow up talking about that. I was like, what are these ministers doing? And it was a corrective, right? Because religious communities have often denied the body, denied talking about things like sex and sexuality, and that silence has created harm. And there's a great emphasis, including the Our Whole Lives curriculum, that is talking about lifespan, our bodies and lifespan sexuality from kindergarten through adults. And that's a joint venture with the United Church of Christ and the Unitarian Universalists. So we talk about it, and it's good, it's important. I'll also just say that for me, I often, if I ever feel triggered when someone's sharing their own story, I just maybe tap my fingers together. I do something that reminds me that I'm here now. Staying in the present moment is one of the ways in which we can ground ourselves if something people are sharing brings us into another place. So I just share all of those invitations as Corey prepares and shares their reflection. Thank you so much, Corey. We're ready for you.
Thank you, Stacy. I really appreciate that. My name is Corey, and as it's coming on to Veterans Day, I want to take the opportunity to talk about my experience in the military in the context of its impact on my body. I was not raised in a religious tradition that honored the human body. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Our bodies were a manifestation of our sinful human selves, their needs and urges constantly leading us into some sort of sin. As a girl in a household with strict Christian parents and a number of younger siblings whom I was expected to share with, no was not a word I learned to say. Enter the military with its drill sergeants, rigid and hierarchical structure, and its intense physicality. I did not learn to say no. I did learn what my body could do, how long and fast I could run, how long I could stay in the push-up position or on my back with my feet held 6 inches off the ground. Morning exercise is a part of every soldier's life, and hard work during the day was frequently part of mine. I built plenty of muscle and stamina. I learned to hydrate, and I also picked up a number of minor skills, such as rolling t-shirts into tight bundles the size of a dollar bill, the length of a dollar bill, or laying out the contents of a toolbox to a precise pattern for inspection. But we ran, and we did jumping jacks and mule kicks on concrete and asphalt. Pain is weakness leaving the body was a favorite motto. We tried to push through our injuries, to ride out our injuries, because pushing through was what soldiers did. We were not taught to distinguish between different types of pain, and we were not encouraged to say no. Minor injuries often developed into chronic injuries. I do not know a single person who got out of the military with body and mind intact. If they didn't rack up physical injuries, they suffered from mental or moral ones. It's easier to talk about physical injuries than the other kind. With several hundred people, mostly between 18 and 25 years old, in close quarters and far from home, it was inevitable that we would have sex. Unfortunately, although some clumsy attempts were made to educate us about sexual assault, there was little sense of what clear consent should look like. The young men learned from each other how to get a girl. Invitations to watch a movie together were common, and in the early days, I did not understand that there was a deeper implied invitation. They moved from cuddling to making out to other things without checking in any meaningful way. And I learned to express my sexuality the same way. I also think that many of us were touch starved without the words or the conceptual understanding to express that, and sex seemed to be the only avenue for physical affection. I did not learn how to say no. I learned to go along quietly for the ride, to go along for the ride, and to quietly question myself afterwards. Everyone around me was only informed by popular media depictions of sex and sexuality. It's hard to describe the experience. It's hard to describe the effects of the experience of being commodified, being a notch on a bedpost, or the object of a game. It's hard to quantify the effect that not being asked over and over again had on me, on my psyche, on my sense of trust in myself. It has taken a long time to come to terms with all that happened over the course of those 4 years, and the task is nowhere near complete. The benefits of building physical stamina in those early adult years are still evident, and I am grateful for them. But my knees and ankles remind me of all that time spent jumping and running on concrete. And I'm lucky to have escaped the hip fractures and shin splints that plagued so many comrades. And I am still learning how to say no, still finding a way in my own body, still trying to claim my own sexuality, and still trying to feel safe in myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey, for saying